Alright, it's time for more Tekken 8 Season 2 changes. This time we're going over 2 characters, since Kuma and Panda share quite a lot of moves, almost like they should have just had one character slot for both of them. In Season 2, Kuma and Panda got enhancements to moves related to hunting stance. They also got balance adjustments to their respective unique moves to further refine their individual playstyles. Since we're going over 2 characters in this video, I'll go over their shared changes first, then their individual changes after, and I'll have timestamps as well. So let's get into the changes, starting with their shared changes in patch 2.01. Up Forward 2 had its damage reduced from 27 to 20. Sidestep 1+2 no longer forces crouch on block. Also, it is now -3. And it does 9 chip damage. This was neutral before. If you go into Hunting Stance, it becomes +3 on block. It was +6 before. Hunting Stance Forward 1+2 got its damage reduced from 40 to 30. Hunting Stance Down Forward 1 is now -7 on block. It was -2 before. On hit and counter hit, it has been changed and knocks the opponent much further away from you, so you don't get a guaranteed follow-up there now. Also, it had its damage reduced from 27 to 23. Now for their shared emergency patch changes, while rising 1-2, the full charge no longer causes a wall crush, and it is +3 on block. Hunting 3+4 got fixed, so it does the intended behavior on hit, especially when you're using a heat dash in a combo. QCF 2-1 fixed an issue where you could actually trigger the heat dash even if you whiffed that second hit. I don't know why that was a thing, but that was a thing. And finally, for their shared actual Season 2 changes, Back 1 is no longer a heat engager. If you go into Hunting Stance on block, it is now -13, this was -15 before. This also now deals 9 chip damage on block. However, if you absorb a move, it actually deals 12 chip damage on block. Also, if you absorb an attack, it is now -3, this was -7 before. QCF 2-1 is now a heat engager. It's also slightly faster now, being a 17 to 18 frame move. It was 18 to 19 frames before. Also, the input window for the second hit has been extended by 5 frames, making it slightly delayable. The first hit is now +3 on hit. On block it is -8. The full string is now -10 on block. It was -14 before. They also reduced the distance on block. Hunting Stance Down 1+2 now insta-bounds on counter hit. On normal hit, it is now +4, this was neutral before. On block, it is now -3, this was -9 before. Also, the biggest change to it, it's no longer a heat engager. Hunting Stance Down Forward 1 is a new 25 to 27 frame homing mid that knocks away for +20. It also causes a hard air spin in combos. Sidestep 1+2 is a 22 to 23 frame mid. On hit, it is +6 and forces crouch. If you go into Hunting Stance here, it becomes +12 on hit, which means Hunting 1-2 is guaranteed. This move also lost its counter hit property. I can't remember if it knocked down or launched, but it basically just does the same thing as on normal hit now. Forward 2-1, they've delayed the opponent's block timing by 5 frames. This makes it slightly hit confirmable, but if you delay for too long, your opponent can block. Hunting Stance 3+4 is now a 20 to 24 frame heat engager. It was 25 to 30 frames before. Now hopefully I can show this, but it actually got its crouching status removed when you're doing the move, so like right there. Even though Panda is doing a high, it still connects with this. It's now also -14 on block. It was -12 before. Down back 1-2, the partial charge. In the patch notes, it says that they changed the startup frames from 34 to 35 frames to now being a 33 to 34 frame move, but that's not exactly true in-game. The second hit will give you different frame amounts depending on how long you've actually held the button. It's actually pretty hard to get it to be 33 to 34 frames. So it's not going to consistently give you 33 to 34 frames unless you know the exact timing for it. They also adjusted the move so that the second hit will now be natural on counter hit, meaning the partial charge. And as you can see, it is +13 here, which means you get a guaranteed 1+2. Or if you go into Hunting Stance, you get a guaranteed Hunting 1-2. While rising 1-2, the partial charge on the second hit, it is now a 33 frame move. It was 35 frames before, and this one is actually consistent. Doesn't matter how long I hold this for, it's going to be 33 frames each time, unless of course I fully charge it. Or I do it immediately. It's also been adjusted so that on counter hit, the second hit partial charge will actually connect as a natural hit. Gives you plus 18 with a knockdown. Hunting stance 1-2, the partial charge there. The damage on that second hit is now 23, it was 20 before. On counter hit, the partial charge second hit is now natural, and as you can see, it's plus 13. Which means whilst hitting 1-2 is guaranteed there. Down back 1 is now a 14 frame move, it was 14 to 15 frames before. The second hit is now a 22 to 23 frame move, it was 17 to 18 frames before. And because of that change on block, it is no longer a block string, so if you try to press in between here, you are getting counter hit. They also reduced the input window for the second hit by 2 frames, so it's not delayable. While rising 1 is now a 13 frame move, it was 13 to 15 frames before. They also reduced the input window for the second hit by 3 frames, so again, not delayable anymore. While rising 1 on hit is now plus 3, it was plus 2 before. The second hit here was an 18 to 19 frame move, it is now 16 to 17 frames, and it's no longer a block string. Hunting 1 is now a 12 frame move, it was 12 to 13 frames before. It is also now plus 5 on hit, it was plus 2 before. Hunting 1-2 is now plus 6 on hit, it was plus 4 before, and the second hit now does 23 damage instead of 20. Hunting stance forward 1+2 got its animation changed slightly to make it look a bit more like hunting stance down forward 1 for a mix-up. They also reduced the opponent's recovery time by 2 frames so you don't get any unintended follow-ups there. Hunting stance back 1+2 is now minus 20 on block, it was minus 25 before. And the follow-up, another 1+2 basically, is no longer a block string. Down 1+2 now has 7 frames more recovery on hit, and it now does 23 damage instead of 28. But they've also given it a clean hit effect, which gives it 4 more damage. The hitbox on the bear's jab has been expanded so it doesn't whiff against certain moves at close range, but it still kinda has slightly wacky range. While standing 2 as well as down forward 2-1, the second hit there, both those moves have gotten their hitbox expanded downward so it doesn't whiff, and it also has adjusted collision detection as well. Back 1+2, the opponent's behavior on hit has been adjusted, so if you land that hit from the side or from behind the opponent, the second hit won't whiff anymore. You can now also crawl back and forth and stay in hunting stance. I don't know if this was a thing that was needed, but okay. Now for the Kuma specific changes, he actually didn't get much in patch 2.01 or the emergency patch, but they did fix a bug where if you were in a combo and you did Kuma's Heat Smash, for whatever reason it was resetting the combo scaling and the combo knockback. So it's as if you just started the combo all over again. On block, his Heat Smash now does 10 chip damage instead of 13. And now for the actual Season 2 changes to Kuma. His Heat Smash is now a throw on hit. Also, the hitbox of the first attack has been reduced, making it easier to step. And on block, it is now neutral, this was plus 10 before. Kuma's Wind Bear Fist now uses more heat timer, and it now pushes the opponent back pretty far. Now for the Panda specific changes, she also didn't really get much in patch 2.01 or the emergency patch. Her Heat Smash now does 9 chip damage on block, it was 12 before. Now for Panda's actual Season 2 changes, in Heat she now has a down back 1+3 grab, which leaves her at plus 12. This guarantees forward 2-1, it's meant for when you're at the wall, if you have your back to the wall. So that, basically. In Heat, Panda's up forward 3+4 now actually uses less heat timer. Panda's Heat Smash is now also a throw on hit. On block, it is now plus 9, this was plus 7 before. And as you can see, it no longer transitions into bear roll or bear sit on hit. Overall in Season 1, the bears were kinda crazy. They had crazy damage combos, and it was more so Kuma that was the crazier one, especially in Heat because of Wind Bear Fist. you couldn't do much of anything. You had to stand there and eat the chip damage and then eat the heat smash on block for more chip damage. But even though they are better in Tekken 8 compared to every other game they've been in, I guess, I still didn't run into them online often at all. And when I did, I honestly hardly remembered their frames. And it was mostly Kuma anyway, because Panda was just a worse Kuma. In Season 2, they are toning down the bullshit a bit, but again, these two are like Taxman characters. I feel like you just don't run into them that often in the first place. But they have gotten quite a few guaranteed follow-ups in this patch, and a bit more emphasis on hunting stance, but I am still kind of disappointed because even though they say individual playstyles, these two are still basically the same character. The only time they're doing something different is in Heat, so I hope they actually do a bit more with these two to actually warrant them being in two separate character slots. But you guys let me know in the comments what you think about their Season 2 changes, and if you liked, leave a like, dislike if you didn't. These two should have actually just been one character slot with Eddie as a base roster character. It just doesn't make sense when they share 99% of their move list.